Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entrance of Her Honor and the Honorable Lieutenant Perry, Lieutenant Governor Prince Edward Island, and remain standing for the singing of O Canada.
Please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour, bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Welcome to the 2018 Investiture ceremony for the Order of Prince Edward Island. Your Honor, Antoinette Perry, Chief Justice Jenkins, Premier H. Wade McLaughlin, and other distinguished guests. Good morning, everyone. My name is Gerard Greenan, and I am pleased to be the chair of the Order of Prince Edward Island Advisory Council. At this time, I would like to invite you to please stand for the invocation from Reverend Ian C. Glass, followed by Mi'kmaq prayer, and unfortunately Elder Trively Levi could not be with us, but today we are very pleased to have Elder Judy Clark of the Abigwit First Nations to deliver the prayer. Please stand.
Let us take a moment and bow our heads in a word of prayer. Let us pray. O God, whose Spirit is constantly working among us, we come together this morning to celebrate the community and social development achievements of some of your servants in this province. We would invoke now your presence at this Order of Prince Edward Island investiture ceremony as we honor 3 new members this morning. O God, help us to fully realize the opportunities and responsibilities you have placed upon each one of us to positively influence the society in which we live. Our Father, give us a voice to praise your goodness in this land and a will to serve you now and always. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Kwe. Nina Dalvisi Sudik, Akaktigo Sisipabit, Ababeg David. I welcome you all here today. It is a great honor to be here. It's a beautiful day, fall day, for us to gather and celebrate the achievement of the community. O Great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the wind, hear me, for I am young, small, and weak. I need your strength and your wisdom. I seek strength, O Great Spirit, not to be superior to my brothers and sisters, but to conquer my greatest enemy, myself. I seek wisdom for the lessons hidden in every leaf and rock, so that I may learn to carry the message of life and hope to my people. My hands respect the many beautiful things you have made. May my ears be sharp to hear your voice. May I always walk in the beauty, and let your eyes ever behold the purple sunset. For when my life here has faded and ended with the setting sun, my spirit will come to you without shame. Insignia.
You may be seated. Before we begin the official ceremonies, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the members of the Order of PEI Advisory Council that are here with us this morning. Chief Justice David Jenkins, UPEI President Dr. Al-Aziz, Clerk of the Executive Council Paul Ledwell, and we also have Jackie McKay, Brian Anir, Debbie Buchanan, and our Secretary Joanne Holden. Unable to be with us in attendance this morning is Doug LeBlanc and Miss Diane Porter. The Order of Prince Edward Island is the highest honor the province can bestow. It gives public recognition to individual islanders whose efforts and accomplishments have been exemplary. There are many citizens who make remarkable contributions to the social, economic, and cultural life of our province and its people, and the Order of Prince Edward Island is a unique opportunity to honor them. I would now invite Her Honor, Chancellor of the Order of Prince Edward Island, and the Lieutenant Governor of Prince Edward Island, Antoinette Perry, to please come and give her remarks.
Thank you, Chair. Honourable Chief Justice Jenkins, Honourable Premier McLaughlin, Honourable Catherine Colbeck, members of the Order of PEI, Chair and members of the Advisory Council, recipients and guests, good morning, bonjour. I wish to acknowledge the land on which we are gathered is the traditional land of the Indigenous Mi'kmaq people. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Government House for the investiture ceremony for three outstanding islanders to the Order of Prince Edward Island. Bienvenue à la Maison du gouvernement pour la cérémonie d'investiture de trois insulaires extraordinaires à l'ordre de l'île du Prince-Édouard. So, as Mr. Greenan said, the order was established in 1996, and we have been able to recognize so many extraordinary, remarkable islanders who have contributed a lot to their communities and to the island community as well. Their efforts and accomplishments have set them apart. As Chancellor of the Order, I am honored and pleased to confer the Order of Prince Edward Island on Mark Arendz, Heather Cutcliffe, and Irene Jewel for their significant contributions. You are exemplary role models who have demonstrated outstanding leadership, citizenship, and excellence in your selfless and caring service to islanders. You exemplify the island way of life through your generosity, volunteerism, and indeed your sense of community. Il est très important de reconnaître nos citoyens remarquables qui, par leur générosité, font des contributions inestimables à leur manière individuelle à notre communauté. Ils s'engagent et se donnent généreusement et entièrement à l'avancement de leur communauté. Leur esprit de bénévolat mérite la reconnaissance et l'admiration de tous. On behalf of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, I offer my congratulations as I welcome you into the prestigious Order of Prince Edward Island. You are to become officially part of the recorded history of our province. I extend my appreciation and best wishes also to your families for their caring support. As well, a sincere thank you to the Advisory Council for your contributions to the Order of Prince Edward Island. And I wish also to invite you to tour the home afterwards if you so wish. It is a public place of meeting, and I want you to feel at home here. Merci. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I invite the Premier of Prince Edward Island, the Honourable H. Wade McLaughlin, to give us his remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Willie Exitbrook. Your Honor, Lieutenant Governor and Chancellor of the Order, Chair Gerard Greenan, and members of the Order of Prince Edward Island Advisory Council, most notably the new recipients of the Order of Prince Edward Island for 2018, and others who are with us who've received the order in 2017 or earlier years, family and honored guests. This is one of the great gatherings of the whole year, an opportunity to recognize 3 distinguished Prince Edward Islanders, leading citizens, and through them to recognize the quality of the community that we enjoy and that brings us so many benefits as a province. We had 10 days ago what we call Y Day, a gathering of young people, leading young people from our province and all parts of the province. And one of the first exercises they spent the day together, and they were asked as a kind of an icebreaker to have a conversation in round table format with each other about it started out with the idea of the Grateful Heart. And the organizers asked the young people to talk about what they are grateful for. And then there was a feedback time. And just about everyone in the place and each of the tables spoke about community and the many ways in which we support each other, we are able to move ahead together, and to have each other's back in Prince Edward Island. And this gathering today, and in particular, the opportunity to recognize our 2018 inductees, Mark Arendz, Heather Cutcliffe, and Irene Jewel, as exceptionally deserving recipients of the Order of Prince Edward Island and contributors to our province and community, reminds us in an exemplary way of what it is to have the community that we do and the quality of life that we do as a province. This year's group of 3 recipients was chosen by the Advisory Council from among 40 worthy nominees. And they join a group of islanders who've been recognized with the Order of Prince Edward Island now for 22 years since the order was established, and to recognize a diversity of contributions to our community and to our province. Mark Arendz is recognized as an outstanding role model and mentor to youth in sports and in life, and of course as an 8-time Paralympic medalist. And we had the opportunity earlier this year to celebrate that, and in particular to see Mark's character, his ability to inspire others, and we're going to hear more about that, so I won't take all of the space in speaking about each of our recipients. But may I add that it's fitting that Mark was prevented from being here, or at least being here on time, by snow. And if he was closer than Calgary, I suppose he could have gotten here on skis. But many of us know there's a ridge of high pressure over Alaska that's causing some very strange weather over the prairies, and Mark will be here before noon, we're told. Heather Cutcliffe is recognized as an exceptional leader and advocate for better health care, for rehabilitation services for islanders, and for your volunteerism, Heather, that has increased opportunities for Prince Edward Islanders and made life better for residents of your community and broadly for Prince Edward Island's community. Irene Jewel, recognized as a family farmer, a legend throughout Prince Edward Island, pioneer in tourism and in farming and gardening. And for those of us who've known Irene as a neighbor, for a step that's a challenge for any of us to keep up with, and that continues happily. So Irene, you've enriched our province and your community with your volunteerism as well as your many contributions in, as a productive farmer and family leader. And I might say, since we mentioned the snow, that I don't think Irene will be the first to complain about the rain. We all understand that rain is one of the things that's enabled our province to do well. So these contributions, and we'll hear more about them, that the three of you have made to island life are significant and most richly deserving of recognition through the Order of Prince Edward Island. And as we hear the citations, it'll be an opportunity for each of us to think about how we can be grateful for your contributions and for what you together have done to make Prince Edward Island a mighty island, as we like to say. A place where we dream big, where we help each other, and we work hard to do even better. So we thank you for your contribution to the strength and the spirit and the collective contributions of our province and of our community. We're all proud, and we know that you should be proud of this well-deserved honor, and that you're able to be here with family and friends today in celebration. Look forward to hearing the citations. Congratulations again to the 2018 Order of Prince Edward Island recipients. Félicitations. Merci. Walayak.
Thank you, Premier. We will now proceed with the investiture of the new members of the Order of Prince Edward Island for 2018. As the Premier had mentioned, Mark is not with us. Mark's flight was cancelled yesterday due to the snowstorm in Calgary, and he'll be joining us for the investiture ceremony as soon as he's off his flight at 11:15 this morning. We would like to invite those who are able to stay around for a little longer to help welcome Mark as a recipient for the Order of Prince Edward Island. If you can stay, please do. At this time, I would like to invite Ms. Rachel Harper to please come forward and present our first inductee.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Rachel Harper, and I'm extremely honored to be introducing Heather Cutcliffe to you today. You will soon learn about all of the different roles and contributions that she has made to the island over the years, but the role that she has played in my life is that of mom. I've been asked to read her biography and to share a few personal remarks that might be more difficult to capture by just simply looking at her resume or looking at her list of accomplishments. Heather Cutcliffe is an outstanding contributor for the improvement of her island community and an exceptional leader and advocate in healthcare rehabilitation medicine for hundreds of islanders. She has been a driving force in developing and implementing better services for patients and families, whether it be for stroke care or those faced with disabilities. She has removed silos between education and health by having a vision that all children in PEI should have access to occupational therapy services, which then resulted in her developing a program that offers these services within our island schools. She has also played a key role in the provincial seating program, a clinic that provides specialized seating or mobility aids to islanders with disabilities in order to support their independence and provide them with a better quality of life. In her community, Heather played a major role in bringing girls hockey to the community of Crapo and surrounding areas in the 1990s. She was a participant in the development of the Actiplex and Community Wellness Center when the Crapo rink collapsed. She led Sunday school for many years in the Hampton Victoria United Church. She revitalized the Canadian Girls in Training program in Tryon, and she's an avid volunteer who has served for countless years on the board with the Arthritis Society and the Heart and Stroke Foundation, just to name a few. She is highly regarded as an occupational therapist and has been recognized by the Canadian Association of Occupational Therapists Award for Innovative Practice, the Douglas McMaster Memorial Occupational Health and Safety Award, and the Prince Edward Island Occupational Therapy Society's Joy Mill Award for providing an outstanding contribution to occupational therapy. She also takes the time to mentor and support upcoming physiotherapists, occupational therapists, speech-language pathologists, and really anyone who's interested or passionate about getting involved in healthcare on PEI or beyond and improving the lives of Islanders. And while juggling all of these things and all of these accomplishments, she didn't miss a hockey game. She didn't miss a school concert, a science fair, and we always had fresh baked cookies in our lunch every morning and a dinner on the table at night. So I would like to close with a brief story to help describe what can't be captured on paper. So when I was growing up, some of my absolute favorite days were when there were snow days or professional development days at school. And I know what you're thinking, what child doesn't like missing school? But for me, what that usually meant was I got to go to work with my mom. She would set up a little desk for me in her office. She would let me pretend that I was working. I hung out or bothered her colleagues, depending on who you talked to, and the Queen Elizabeth Hospital became my playground. What she wasn't aware of at the time was that it allowed me to witness an unparalleled work ethic and a strong female leader firsthand. I would watch as she navigated politics of the workplace with ease and looked on as she worked towards equality and dismantled social injustices for Islanders with disabilities. But I think the most important thing that I witnessed at such a young age, and that now I think about every day in my work, is how she treated people. It has been said, and one of the common threads from everyone who wrote letters of recommendation for her nomination, was that the sign of a real leader is someone who creates an environment where you can see yourself in it, you can see yourself in the vision. No matter your role, this leader helps you see where you fit, you understand that your role is important no matter what you do, and that it all comes together for the greater good. When I would go to work with her as a little girl, our days would go as following. We would drive into the parking lot somewhere around 5 a.m. Yes, she usually worked from 5 a.m. till 5 p.m. every single day. We would come to the commissioner's booth at the parking lot. She would stop and she would talk to that person. She would know them by name. She would know their family by name. She would know what was happening in their life. We would then walk into the hospital, and she would do the same with the barista at Second Cup. She would talk to the information desk. She would talk to the communication staff. She would talk to the admitting staff, and she'd work her way around the hospital. We would usually end with the cleaning staff who were just finishing their night shift. Every single person she knew by name, and she knew their families' names. She understood what was happening in their lives and could have personal connections with them. And she would always thank them for the work that they were doing. During the day, her office would be a revolving door. People would come in and out to bounce ideas off of her, meet with her, seek guidance and advice, or sometimes they just simply needed to talk about what they were dealing with at work or in their personal lives. Regardless of the purpose, she always made time for people, and it didn't matter who you were or what you did. She wasn't the CEO of the hospital, but she always led from where she stood, and she would go out of her way to let people know that they were appreciated, that their work was important, and that someone saw the great work that they were doing. So if you read her list of accomplishments, the foundation of all of this, I believe, was built on compassion and empathy. She makes time for people, whether you sweep the halls of the hospital at 2 a.m., or you're an aspiring occupational therapist trying to find your way, or you need occupational therapist services in your school, or you're the Minister of Health. She will make time for you. She makes everyone she meets feel important and like they matter. So of everything that she's accomplished, everything on her resume, this is what I believe is her biggest accomplishment. I believe this is her legacy, and it is who I aspire to be and why I am so incredibly proud to be her daughter. And that is Heather Cutcliffe.
Thank you, Rachel. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome our first inductee, Ms. Heather Cutcliffe, as a recipient of the 2018 Order of Prince Edward Island. Congratulations, Heather. I would now like to invite Mr. Scott Lewis to please come forward and present our next inductee.
Your Honor, Mr. Chief Justice Jenkins, Mr. Premier McLaughlin, recipients of the Order of Prince Edward Island, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Scott Lewis, and it was my honor to be involved in the nomination of Irene Jewel to the Order of Prince Edward Island, and now a privilege to be a presenter here today. In addition to the prepared statement, I must say that Irene Jewel has demonstrated and led by example great acts of kindness and generosity to her community at large and to all who have come into her contact. She has inspired us all. She has planted many good seeds with her many good deeds. She has and continues to make Prince Edward Island a better place to live. Irene Jewel is the epitome of Prince Edward Island farmer, entrepreneur, and community citizen, and has set an example in all of these areas her entire life. Through passion and personal conviction, Irene's up-to-your-elbows approach as an island farm woman is exemplary. Farm women have been and continue to be the unsung heroes of the industry. The 2001 publication Growing from Strong Roots PEI Farm Women's Conference featured Irene Jewel as a lifelong farm family woman and a community builder. One of her favorite sayings about life is the family that farms together stays together. Irene has made her mark on Prince Edward Island. She has been an active member and leader in the Women's Institute and award recipient for the United Church Women Life in 1987, and the Institute of Agrologists Hall of Fame inductee in 1994. In 1980, she was recognized as the PEI Women's Institute Woman of the Year and has been recognized individually and in partnership with her husband, Parker. Through her family, she has received multiple international Grand Champion awards for farm-grown produce since 1980. Whether recognized locally, nationally, or internationally, it was all about the quality of product and presentation from the fruits of the family farm in York. The Jewel family has been celebrated through prize-winning produce from Old Home Week to the Royal Agricultural Exhibition and international level red ribbons. Irene had a special skill for identifying and expertly preparing the very best of their potatoes and rutabagas for show, and they always impressed. Irene's pride was Jewel's Country Gardens. Opening in 1964, it was a must-see for countless tourists, including bus tours. Irene was a master gardener and her private pleasure was cutting flowers and arranging them into bouquets for her table, and for a great many for sick and for the shut-ins in the community, and for other special occasions. In 1976, the gardens, greenhouses were sold. Irene and Parker turned their attention to supporting their 3 boys and their mixed farming operations based in York and co-fed. The world and our island needs farmers, especially family farmers, to ensure health and prosperity. Irene Jewel is a family farming inspiration and a pioneer in farm and garden tourism, always maintaining the highest standards. Irene is an islander and leader in family farming on PEI, applying top-notch customer service and commitment to the highest quality products and community life. An islander who is most worthy of the Investiture into the 2018 Order of Prince Edward Island. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. It gives me great pleasure to welcome our next inductee, Ms. Irene Jewel, as the worthy recipient of the Order of Prince Edward Island 2018. At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Gemma Keown to the podium, and she will introduce our inductee.
Your Honor, it's my pleasure to be here today to say a few words about Mark Arendz. Mark Arendz is a proud Islander and Canadian who takes pride in not allowing his success to define his character. Born in Hartsville, Prince Edward Island, Mark embraces the meaning of community. He may be an 8-time Paralympic medalist, but he as a person is much more than this. Mark first developed a sense of community at the age of 7 when he lost his arm in a farming accident. Following amputation in Halifax, his family wasn't sure for weeks if he would make it. And it was during this time that he watched neighboring farmers, friends, and even strangers come to his family's aid to allow his loved ones to remain close to him. These acts of kindness have left a lasting impact on Mark. And he speaks to that quite often when he's interviewed about his success as an athlete, but he always comes back to that moment in time where he talks about how important his community was to him. After his recovery, it didn't take long for Mark to start giving back. That's his nature. Only months after his accident, he became a Warm Amps ambassador. This led to a Play Safe video showing him performing everyday activities and playing sports. Mark soon became a role model for many and continues to be ambassador for numerous organizations. He continues to give back in this province anytime he's home. One of the most fun videos I think I've seen of him recently was when he was doing a school tour with Parasport and Recreation, and they were timing him to see how long it took him to tie his shoelaces. And the kids really enjoyed that and watched with amazement how quickly he could do something like that. He's an outstanding role model in a variety of ways. For us at Sport PEI, he's a kid sport ambassador, which is so important to us. He has traveled to Nicaragua, where he's helped to build a school after a landslide forced people from their homes, and he's a counselor with the Celebrate Canada Youth Ambassador Program. Those are just to name a few. Mark received a sense of personal enjoyment for giving back to the community, but he also sees the pride that Islanders take in his success. The Order of Prince Edward Island gives public recognition to individual islanders whose efforts and accomplishments have been exemplary. Mark Arendz is an exemplary athlete and person. At the 2018 Paralympics, he achieved a Canadian Single Paralympic Games record of 6 medals. 5 individual, 1 team relay. He had a gold, 2 silver, a bronze in biathlon, and 2 in cross country. Mark was honored to be named Canada's flag bearer for the closing ceremonies. And we were pretty honored to watch him carry that flag too. And this honor isn't just on his success, but it's to an athlete who shows great leadership and mentorship abilities. Mark is truly an example of a young Islander who is an inspiration to us all. He takes pride in being able to share his experiences and motivates others to do things they think impossible. Mark's record of achievements is nothing short of remarkable. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor on behalf of SPORT PEI to present Mark Arendz to be invested into the Order of Prince Edward Island.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Order of Prince Edward Island Advisory Council, I would like to congratulate all of today's recipients and welcome them to the prestigious 2018 Order of Prince Edward Island. Please give them a round of applause. Photos of all the recipients will be taken following the official ceremony, and this brings to a close the official part of today's ceremony.